There are a lot of controversies in the Wings of Fire fandom on the way things are written. To name a few, there's whether Winter was character butchered or not. He wasn't. I'm working on a video proving that. There's Glorybringer, God help me if that starts a debate in the comments. And there's the ending of Arc 3. The ending of Arc 2 was also controversial. A lot of people had criticism on how it ended. Some people thought it didn't have enough flair. Others thought that Darkstalker should have chosen differently. And even more think that Darkstalker might not truly be dead yet. Today, I'll be going over some of the most popular Darkstalker's death AUs, or just alternate endings for Arc 3. I hope all of you will enjoy. Before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please think about subscribing. I regularly post both Wings of Fire and Warrior Cats content, so you'll never be bored. And to my current subscribers, thank you so much for supporting me. I wouldn't have gone here without y'all. First of all, there's the AU often called Darkstalker's Choice after the defining one-shot of the AU. The story was made by DeviantArt member, also known as on YouTube. I kindly ask all of you not to comment about Wings of Fire on their pages, as they have left the fandom and would not appreciate hundreds of people barging into their space, so please leave them alone. This AU starts at that infamous strawberry scene. Darkstalker is not convinced by anyone's arguments on why he should eat the strawberry. I mean, being an ordinary dragon would be awful. He couldn't improve the world like that. Keeble clears his throat and steps into the conversation. He points out that the two of them are alike in their intelligence even if he doesn't have powers. However, Darkstalker only pretends to care about other dragons, and Keeble actually does. Darkstalker is offended and asks him to name one time that he didn't care about other dragons' feelings, and Keeble practically pulls out an encyclopedia of all the times that he didn't. Darkstalker pauses for a minute and then realizes that Keeble is right. He realized his intentions did not matter. Even if he wanted to help other dragons, he only ended up hurting them, and that was the impact of his actions not helping them. Darkstalker then picks up the strawberry and remarks on how they are changing him into a brand new dragon, just like he did to other dragons. But how are they going to do that? Animus magic doesn't work on him. Kinkajou corrects him. His own magic certainly does work on himself, and Darkstalker says yes, and makes the dragons there promise him to tell the dragon that he will become all about his flaws. The other dragons are confused until he says that he'd rather not repeat history and learn the same lessons twice. Kinkajou and Darkstalker share a brief word. No one else can hear what she says, but Darkstalker is a bit amused by it and agrees. He refuses to tell anyone about what was said. And so he enchants himself to become a new dragon, with the surprise addition of being half Rainwing instead of half Icewing. Peacemaker is made, and Foeslayer resolves to join the Nightwings in the rainforest. She needs a new name for herself though, and so she chooses Hope. This AU is a minor deviation from canon, and ends in the same place that canon did. However, despite it being so short and such a small change, a lot of people prefer it to canon. I personally think it's a nice AU, however I don't think that it could have ever ended like that, which prevents me from enjoying it too much. I actually made a video on why Darkstalker would have never accepted last year during Darkstalker December, so feel free to check that out. Next up, we have the Animus Keeble AUs. In these AUs, Keeble accepts Darkstalker's offer of becoming an Animus. Henki is an AU map about the moments after he accepts, in which Moon and Winter attempt to reason with him while Keeble expresses how powerless he's always felt in his life, and how Animus magic changes things for him. The map is called Crossing the Line, and you should watch it to support the animators. There's some really excellent parts in there. I made an AU animatic with a slightly wider focus on Keeble accepts last year. My specific AU is called Darkstalker Wins. It's hard to tell the story because of the poor art quality, so I'll explain it. Keeble accepts Darkstalker's offer. He becomes an Animus, and together they get to work conquering Pyria. They lay siege to the Ice Kingdom. The Ice Kingdom's palaces melt and then freeze again, trapping the dragons inside, and Snowfall surrenders as they starve to death. The Rainforest Kingdom is the next to fall. The Rainwings may be immune to Darkstalker's magic, but no one is immune to fire, besides Clay. A decent amount of the rainforest is burned down, forcing the Rainwings and the few Nightwings who remained in the rainforest to surrender. Keeble has to fight both Anemone and Turtle to control the Sea Kingdom, and in the end he raises the acidity of the sea so much that it hurts Sea Wings. The two of them can't figure out what is happening, and have to surrender in order to get the answer as to what is happening to the seas. Though Keeble has been acting as the claws of Darkstalker, secretly he's been undermining him. Anemone and Turtle are working on making him less under Darkstalker's control, and so that his magic affects Darkstalker. I did not think this through, but Keeble kills Darkstalker somehow? likely by giving him one of the original Keeble earrings, which causes him to crumble into dust. It's a bit anticlimactic though, so I don't know, I'll change that if I ever decide to expand the AU more. From there, Keeble still has his animus powers. He creates a council made from the brightest minds in the dragon tribes, and enables them to choose an animus enchantment once every 10 years. He then puts himself to sleep, only to be woken up once a decade for that. Those are all the Keeble animus AUs I'm aware of. However, we are missing a very significant category of Darkstalker AUs. This video would not be complete without mentioning Darkstalker is asleep again, this time just resting in Peacemaker's consciousness. I'm gonna have to credit a subset of this AU, once again Henki. Henki contributed significantly to the lore of this AU with her specific subset Ripening Rage. In 2020, they hosted an art contest using this AU. The rules were simple. Use one of the main characters in the AU in a piece of art. This piece of art could be an animation, paper mache, rubber bands, or even 3D models, meaning that anyone could participate. There were also different categories that people could win in, meaning that there were prizes for everyone, and rare art forms were able to win against more popular ones such as animation. From that, there were over 150 entries in the contest. 60 of them are compiled into a video playlist on YouTube, and one of them used to be mine. The video is now deleted alongside the entire channel that hosted it, so that no one will accidentally stumble upon it and become exposed to the horrors. If you couldn't tell, this video did not make top 6 in any category. I highly recommend going over to the winner's video and checking it out. It's honestly incredibly impressive what contestants were able to do considering the time limit of the contest, and reminds me of what fandom is all about. But that's enough about the contest for Ripening Rage. What is Ripening Rage? Well, it's an AU primarily concerned about the growing discontent from Peacemaker. Peacemaker is raised in the rainforest, unaware that he's the reincarnation of Darkstalker. He's a social pariah, and his only friend is his fellow hybrid Firefly, who is the daughter of Queen Gloria and King Deathbringer. One day, Firefly brings him a special earring that is able to block Darkstalker's spells, and she is convinced that this will prove his innocence. Initially, nothing happens to Peacemaker, but gradually he begins to gain memories that aren't his, and soon enough, he's able to talk to Darkstalker himself, or as he calls Darkstalker, Demon Stalker. Darkstalker forces Peacemaker to light the village on fire during a festival. He flees from the rainforest and eventually meets Prince Cliff at one of his concerts, as Prince Cliff is a rock star in this AU. Soon after, they meet Auklet. Due to the tragedies Animus Magic has caused her and her family, she wants to destroy Animus Magic forever, which hasn't happened in this AU yet. And then, nothing. Everything else about the AU was kept secret so that the next plot reveals could have better impact. Unfortunately, Henki has left the Wings of Fire fandom and never told anyone about what the rest of Ripening Rage would be like. But it is an interesting AU nevertheless. There are also other Peacemaker's Darkstalker AUs. There's Nightmare Lullaby made by Elodie and Entropy over 3 years ago now. I'm sorry if I absolutely butchered that name, I try. And then there's the more recent Legend of Peacemaker, which is based off of Wings of Fire and also Legend of Zelda. I highly recommend checking both of them out. There's some seriously impressive animators in both of those maps. All Peacemaker's Darkstalker AUs have one thing in common though, which is that Peacemaker is having a lovely life, then he puts the earring on and Darkstalker reawakens. What happens next depends entirely on the map creator. However, I feel like the best Peacemaker's Darkstalker AU comes from Tui herself. According to Tui, what would really happen if Peacemaker was to put on the earring is that he would crumple to dust because all of the things keeping Darkstalker alive would wear off as well. Those are all the Darkstalker alternate ending AUs that I've heard of. Out of all these ways that it could have ended, which one is your favorite? Or do you just like canon? Comment down below. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I make Wings of Fire and Warrior Cats videos pretty often, and your support would mean a lot to me. And to those who've already subscribed, thank you for your continued support. I would have gone here without y'all. Rogan out.